Security Best Practices. About this module. Welcome to the Security Best Practices module. In this module, you'll learn about the physical and logical security measures organizations take to secure their devices and systems. You'll learn about the role of security guards and the features of badges and badge readers. You'll explore the differences between face locks and other types of screen locks. You'll learn about common reasons for vulnerabilities in software and the importance of securing software using vulnerability scanners. You'll discover the ways that IT support technicians secure applications and code. You'll become knowledgeable about authentication, authorization, strong passwords, and common access protocols. You'll also learn about common security issues in software and systems and the ways to prevent threats. And you'll explore different types of malware. Learning objectives. After completing this module, you should be able to differentiate between various types of security measures for hardware devices and IT support technician responsibilities in managing them. Select appropriate physical or logical security measure for a given scenario. Differentiate between authentication and authorization. Select tools, processes, and best practices to secure software applications. Apply best practices to prevent computer security threats. Use Malwarebytes to scan, detect, and remove malware from a personal computer. About this lesson, securing hardware devices. In today's interconnected world, the security of hardware devices is an important part of the responsibilities of IT support technicians. With the increasing sophistication of cyber threats, securing hardware devices and server rooms has become a fundamental aspect of protecting an organization's data and resources. IT support technicians undertake varied tasks, from basic management to using advanced technologies like biometric authentication and blockchain. They must safeguard hardware devices against unauthorized access and cyber threats. In this lesson, you'll learn about the principles and practices of hardware device security. You'll discover the role of physical and logical security measures in creating a secure environment for hardware devices. You will also explore the technologies and strategies that protect devices from unauthorized access and cyber threats. System security. Watch the following video to get an overview of system security. Page 1 of 1. Video transcript. System security. People think about system security, even though they might not realize it. Before you leave on vacation, you probably lock all the doors, close the windows, turn on your security monitoring system, and ask the neighbors to watch the house for you. By taking these actions, you've attempted to secure your home against possible intrusion. You've reduced the attack surface, meaning that you've made it harder for an intruder to enter your home to steal or destroy your valuables. Similarly, you can secure computer systems to reduce the attack surface of workstations and servers, making it harder for an intruder to steal or destroy valuable data. Instead of locking doors, you can use secure authentication methods such as strong passwords and multi-factor authentication. Instead of closing windows, you can close unnecessary ports, which are entrances to the computer system. Instead of installing alarms, you can install antivirus software and other tools that will defend email, browsers, and file systems. Instead of asking neighbors to watch your house, you can enable system logging to track all activity. This way, if something does occur, you have a better chance of understanding how the intruder accessed the system and what they did while inside. Each step backs up the others and ensures something else will work if something fails. At a glance, your system security might not seem as important as your home security, but consider how much sensitive information you have on your computer. Your browsers probably hold saved login credentials and credit card numbers. Your files might include sensitive documents and confidential information. Also, access to your computer could enable access to your organization's internal network. If your system gives an intruder an easy entry, they might be able to access and cause damage to the Entire network. In short, just as you develop good security habits to protect your physical valuables, practicing good system security is essential to keeping your digital valuables safe too. What do you think? Employability skills. Critical thinking. What are some big differences between securing a physical space and securing a digital system? What additional practices might you consider to keep your digital information safe? Evaluate your thinking. Does your answer account for the following? Securing a physical space primarily focuses on perimeter defense, which means controlling access through locks, keys, guards, and surveillance cameras. Securing a digital system involves protecting against virtual threats like malware, phishing, hacking, and data breaches. Mitigating these threats often requires multi-factor authentication, encryption, firewalls, regular software updates, and employee training. Unlike physical spaces, digital systems require constant monitoring against cyber threats, requiring proactive measures to detect and respond to potential breaches swiftly. Maintaining secure backups, implementing strong password policies, and regularly auditing system vulnerabilities help protect digital information from cyber attacks. Now that you are familiar with system security, you're ready to explore it in more detail. Physical and logical security. The global average cost of a data breach in 2023 was $4.45 million, a 15% increase over 3 years. Cost of a Data Breach Report 2023 opens in a new tab. A data breach occurs when unauthorized individuals or groups gain access to sensitive records stored in digital systems. Although breaches often occur within networks, software, or applications, the physical computing hardware that stores the data can also be at risk of malicious attacks. In everyday life, devices such as laptops and smartphones contain a wealth of personal information, including photos, text messages, documents, credit card details, and even account passwords. In organizations, hardware devices, from servers to mobile phones, are repositories and processors of vast quantities of data. Some of that data is highly sensitive and could have dire consequences if exposed or mishandled. A woman standing in a secure server room and typing on a laptop on a standing desk. IT support technicians are responsible not only for setting up and troubleshooting computing hardware, but also for keeping hardware secure. They must be knowledgeable about both physical security and logical security. Physical security refers to safeguarding people, resources, and assets from physical threats or unauthorized access. It involves using tangible methods and barriers to protect physical spaces, such as buildings, data centers, or specific areas within a location. Take a bank, for example. The bank's physical security includes the bank vault, security guards, surveillance cameras, and secure doors that control access. These measures prevent unauthorized physical access to the money in the bank. Logical security refers to safeguarding digital systems, networks, and data against unauthorized access, manipulation, or damage. Unlike physical security, which protects tangible assets, logical security focuses on protecting intangible assets like information, software, and digital communication channels. In the banking scenario, logical security includes measures such as secure online banking systems, encryption of financial transactions, and customer authentication protocols. These protect the bank's and the customer's data from cyber threats, such as hacking or identity theft. Physical security measures. Physical security measures protect against physical intrusions. These intrusions exploit the most fundamental layer of security, the physical protection of assets. Organizations that do not secure their assets risk costly financial losses. Just as a bank's security relies on protocols such as sturdy locks and vigilant measures, safeguarding an organization's hardware demands similar physical security protocols. In organizations, access control and surveillance are two primary tools for keeping physical assets safe. An open bank vault door with dollar bills spilling out. Select each tab to learn more about physical security measures. Access control. In physical security, access control refers to mechanisms such as locks, keycards, and biometric scanners that are installed on doors or entry points. The purpose of these systems is to ensure that only people with proper authorization can gain physical entry to specific buildings or areas within a facility. In many corporate office buildings, access control is implemented using keycard systems. IT support technicians or security departments issue employees with keycards embedded with unique identification data. When an employee approaches a door, they swipe or tap their card on a card reader installed beside the door. The system verifies the employee's credentials and grants access if they are authorized for that area. This is a useful method to restrict entry to sensitive zones like server rooms or executive suites. It also records the entry and exit times of employees, enhancing security and monitoring within the building. Surveillance. The surveillance aspect of physical security often involves cameras, sensors, and security guards to observe and record activities in and around a protected area. Many office buildings have a network of strategically placed cameras, sensors, and security guards. Organizations install cameras in various areas, including at the entrance and near sensitive locations such as server rooms. They continuously record video footage, allowing security personnel to monitor employees' and guests' activities in real time. Some organizations use motion sensors to alert staff of any unexpected movement in less frequented areas. This type of surveillance not only deters theft and vandalism but also helps review incidents after they occur. Access control and surveillance work hand in hand to ensure the safety and protection of physical data and assets. But logical security requires different measures. Logical security measures. Imagine you've entrusted all your passwords, from your online banking credentials to your email accounts, to a secure password storage application. You trust this digital vault. However, one day, you notice peculiar activity in your accounts. Some unauthorized bank transactions are made, and emails are sent without your knowledge. The breach wasn't due to a physical break-in, but a crack in the application's logical security. Just as a physical vault's strength lies in its material and locks, the resilience of a digital vault relies on firewalls, robust encryption, and network defenses. Select each tab to learn more about logical security measures. Firewalls. Firewalls act as a digital barrier, like gatekeepers, monitoring incoming and outgoing network traffic. They analyze data packets based on predefined security rules and filter out potentially harmful or unauthorized data. Although firewalls are typically software-based, there are hardware-based firewalls that are integrated into network hardware. Firewalls serve as the first line of defense against cyber threats, such as malware and viruses, by controlling and regulating the flow of data between networks. Network defenses. Network defenses encompass a wide range of tools and security strategies. These defenses include strategies, such as the following. Intrusion detection systems, IDS. These systems monitor networks for suspicious patterns and alert administrators when potential threats are detected. Intrusion prevention systems, IPS. These systems actively monitor network or system activities for malicious or unwanted behavior and prevent such activities from occurring. Encryption protocols. These protocols consist of sets of rules and procedures that define how data is encrypted, transmitted, and decrypted securely over network or communication channels. For example, suppose a large e-commerce company is facing a sophisticated phishing attack aimed at stealing customer data. Upon detection of unusual login attempts from unrecognized locations, the company's intrusion detection system, IDS, immediately flags these activities as potential threats. The intrusion prevention system, IPS, integrated within the firewall, then activates to block IP addresses associated with these suspicious attempts, preventing further unauthorized access attempts. Simultaneously, the company's robust encryption protocols ensure that, even though attackers are attempting to intercept data, all customer information remains encrypted and unreadable. This multi-layered defense strategy effectively neutralizes the phishing attack, safeguarding both the network and sensitive customer data. Organizations integrate physical and logical security measures to create a robust and comprehensive defense system. For example, while using access control systems for physical security, they also use logical security measures such as encryption. By requiring both a physical keycard and decryption keys, an IT support technician adds an extra layer of security, making it more difficult for unauthorized individuals to gain access. Activity: identify physical and logical security needs for an office space. Employability skills. Attention to detail, learning agility. You've discovered that safeguarding an organization's assets requires a comprehensive approach encompassing physical and logical security measures. Physical security focuses on protecting the tangible aspects of an organization, its people, buildings, and hardware from physical threats. Logical security protects an organization's digital assets, its data, networks, and software from cyber threats, such as hacking, malware, and data breaches. Great job! You've learned a lot about physical and logical security. Working with security guards. Security guards have many responsibilities in safeguarding people, property, and premises. They are often the first line of defense against unauthorized physical access to the organization's premises, including areas housing critical IT infrastructure. IT support technicians should understand the responsibilities of security guards and develop a collaborative relationship with security personnel. This relationship can enhance protective measures against physical threats to data centers, server rooms, and network operation centers. A security guard wearing a uniform and sunglasses. Security guard duties encompass a wide range of tasks to prevent incidents and respond effectively to potential risks. Surveillance. Security guards routinely walk or drive through assigned areas to watch for unusual activities or hazards. Their visible presence during patrols helps deter potential troublemakers and reassures those in the area. Access control. Security guards verify the badge or credentials of individuals entering a building or area, ensuring only authorized personnel gain entry. They also cross-check badge swipes with security camera footage to confirm identities. Visitor management. Security guards assist visitors by providing information, issuing temporary guest badges, and directing them to their destinations within the facility. Emergency response. Security guards act as first responders in emergencies, following protocols to alert authorities and communicate effectively with their team for a coordinated response. Reporting and documentation. Security guards document their shifts, noting irregularities or security breaches. These reports are useful for identifying security patterns and vulnerabilities. Security guards act as the first line of defense against unauthorized physical access. So, IT support technicians should know how to coordinate with them to report suspicious activities or breaches. Technicians also need to understand the procedures security guards follow to enforce access control policies. IT support technicians should establish clear lines of communication with security guards, including knowing who to contact in case of suspicious behavior. Understand the protocol for reporting potential security incidents, whether it involves direct communication, use of security software, or incident logs. Understand how to identify and handle suspicious activities and security incidents to be able to assess the security posture of their IT environment. Set up and maintain the software that monitors access control systems, and other tools that security guards use to enforce access control. Collaborate with security guards in the event of a physical security incident, providing necessary logs and system access. Effective communication and collaboration between security guards and IT support technicians ensures that any security concerns regarding physical IT infrastructure are swiftly identified and resolved. Badges and badge readers. Badge readers and badges are essential components of modern security systems. Badge readers act as electronic checkpoints that grant or deny access to certain areas based on the credentials presented. These readers function by recognizing and validating identification cards, often referred to as badges, equipped with embedded electronic information. An identification card, or badge, with a person's face, a key, and the words access card on it. The badge is over a security scanner with a lock on it. Badges. Badges can contain magnetic stripes, proximity sensors, or radio frequency identification, RFID, chips, storing unique details about the card holder. When an individual swipes, taps, or holds their badge near the reader, the system quickly verifies the information stored on the badge against the access control database. If the credentials match, the reader grants access. If not, access is denied, ensuring authorized entry while enhancing security. Select each section to learn more about the features of badge readers and badges. Access management. Badge readers and badges control who gets into certain parts of a facility. For example, all employees might be able to enter general office areas, but only a few can go into places like server rooms. This makes sure people only access the areas they need for their jobs. Access monitoring. Every time someone uses their badge, the system creates a log. This creates a record of who went where and when. If there's ever a security issue, this information is helpful for working out what happened. Security device integration. Cameras and alarms can link to badge readers. So, when someone uses their badge, the camera can start recording, adding an extra layer of security. This is especially useful if an individual's badge is stolen and used by someone else. Badge readers and badges are more than just tools for opening doors. They're a big part of keeping a place secure, making sure people are where they should be, and helping everyone stay safe. Badge readers. A badge reader is a device that electronically scans and verifies identification credentials, such as access cards or badges. The reader then grants or denies entry to secured areas or digital resources. IT support technicians often configure, maintain, and troubleshoot badge readers, which are essential components of access control systems. Technicians must ensure that badge readers are properly integrated with network infrastructure, databases, and security protocols. IT support technicians usually perform the following tasks: installing and configuring badge reader hardware and software, maintaining updated access lists for employees and guests, troubleshooting technical issues, updating firmware and software patches, monitoring system logs for any anomalies or security breaches. IT support technicians also play a vital role in ensuring the seamless operation of badge readers to enhance physical and digital security measures, safeguard sensitive data and assets from unauthorized access or breaches. Features of badges and badge readers. IT support technicians often have several key responsibilities in managing badge readers and badges in an organization. Let's explore a day in the life of an IT support technician responsible for managing badges and badge readers. Introduction. A woman wearing a headset and working at a computer in an office. Serena, an IT support technician, manages the badge program at a large multinational corporation. Her responsibilities are vast and varied, touching on every aspect of access control and physical security in the organization. Through her daily activities, she maintains the integrity and security of the corporation's facilities and assets. 1. System administration and management. Serena starts her day in the heart of the corporation's security operations, where she sets up and configures new badge readers. This morning, she's focused on integrating a newly installed reader with the organization's network, assigning it to the R&D department's secure entrance. Serena carefully assigns access levels, ensuring that only authorized R&D team members can enter the lab. 2. Issuance and revocation of badges. Mid-morning, Serena transitions to the task of issuing badges to new hires. She encodes each badge with specific access permissions, personalizing them based on the employee's role and security clearance level. When she finishes, she starts the task of revoking access for a team member transitioning to a different department. She ensures their old badge no longer grants entry to sensitive areas they don't need access to. 3. Monitoring and reporting. After lunch, Serena's focus shifts to monitoring access logs from the badge reader software. She carefully reviews patterns and flags an unusual after-hours entry into the finance department. Collaborating with the security team, she cross-references this entry with surveillance footage. She identifies it as an authorized access incident caused by an employee working late on a deadline. 4. Troubleshooting and maintenance. In the afternoon, Serena receives a report of a malfunctioning badge reader at the main entrance. She diagnoses the issue as a software glitch and implements a software patch, restoring access and minimizing disruption. 5. Training and awareness. Toward the end of her day, Serena conducts a security awareness session for new employees. She emphasizes the importance of badge security, detailing the protocols for reporting lost badges and explaining tailgating, a security threat where someone accesses a restricted area by following closely behind an authorized person using their badge. Conclusion. Serena's day-to-day responsibilities demonstrate the complexity and importance of managing physical access controls in a large corporation. Next, let's explore other physical security measures that organizations use to protect sensitive data on devices and systems. Using screen locks. Screen locks are another common physical security measure that protects individual devices from unwanted access. A computer monitor, a tablet, and a smartphone are displaying locks on the screens next to a shield-shaped scanner with an index fingertip on the scanner. Screen locks are security features used on digital devices, such as smartphones, tablets, and computers, to prevent unauthorized access. They require a user to enter a specific form of authentication before gaining access to the device's contents. It's important for IT support technicians to know how to set up and manage these locks properly. Forms of authentication range from personal identification numbers, PINs, and patterns to biometrics like fingerprints and facial recognition. Technicians might help users make sure these locks are set up correctly. This often requires striking a balance between keeping things secure and easy to use. They teach users how to create strong passwords or PINs. They also might adjust settings for better security, such as setting devices to lock automatically after a short period. Let's learn more about common forms of authentication that screen locks use. PIN codes. A PIN code is a numeric password used for secure access. Typically, it consists of 4 to 6 digits. For example, users enter a 4-digit PIN code such as 5736 on a smartphone's lock screen to unlock it. Passwords. A password is a string of characters used to verify the identity of a user. It often includes a combination of letters, numbers, and special characters. For example, users type a secure password such as h@3rtnfuzrvn3wzb to access a protected computer account. Patterns. A pattern lock requires drawing a specific shape or line across a grid of dots on the screen to gain access. For example, users swipe a connect the dots pattern, such as an L shape, on a tablet's lock screen. Fingerprint locks. Fingerprint locks use biometric technology to recognize an individual's unique fingerprint pattern. For example, users place a finger on a laptop's fingerprint sensor to quickly unlock the device. Facial recognition. Facial recognition uses the unique characteristics of a person's face to verify their identity. For example, users look at a smartphone's camera, which then uses facial recognition software to unlock the phone automatically. Each of these methods provides a different balance of security and convenience. They are commonly used in various devices to protect personal information. Screen lock limitations. While screen locks offer considerable benefits in protecting sensitive information, they also come with certain limitations. IT support technicians should be aware of these limitations and might be responsible for support. Limited implementation. Despite screen locks serving as a first line of defense against unauthorized access, Sometimes they are not consistently enabled on every device connected to a network. This lack of implementation can create vulnerabilities. Networks connect devices, allowing them to communicate and share data. If a malicious individual manages to bypass the screen lock on one device, it can serve as an entry point to compromise other devices on the same network. Therefore, it is essential to implement screen locks on all devices within the network to minimize potential access points for attackers and protect the network from exploitation. IT support technicians might be responsible for setting up the system on any new employee devices. They might also set up an individual's device as part of a bring your own device policy. Lockouts. With any screen lock, users can easily forget their passwords, PINs, or patterns, thereby locking them out of their devices. To address this, most screen lock systems use forgot password mechanisms to help users recover a forgotten password. However, malicious hackers can also exploit these mechanisms to gain access to accounts and devices. IT support technicians should implement protocols for password recovery and account resets. This might involve setting up additional verification steps, such as security questions, email or SMS confirmation, and multi-factor authentication. Technicians might also educate users on the importance of using complex and unique passwords and PINs. Vulnerabilities and threats. Some screen lock methods might be vulnerable to observation or exploitation. For example, patterns or PIN codes can be potentially guessed or observed by unauthorized individuals, compromising the device's security. There are also various methods that threat actors use to bypass screen locks. A threat actor can exploit vulnerabilities in the device's operating system to bypass or remove the screen lock protection. These vulnerabilities might be inherent to the operating system or arise due to outdated operating system software. Hardware-based methods involve manipulating the device's hardware to gain access to the device's data, bypassing the screen lock. Social engineering tactics are often used to bypass screen locks. For example, abusing the forgot password or security questions to reset the device's password and take control of the account. IT support technicians might set up regular automatic updates to ensure malicious actors cannot exploit vulnerabilities in the device operating system. Technicians might also configure devices to limit the number of incorrect unlock attempts and enable remote wipe capabilities to address potential thefts or losses. Understanding these limitations emphasizes the importance of adopting supplementary security measures alongside screen locks to ensure proper protection for device management and restricted areas such as server rooms. Biometric security measures. When you think of iris scanners and voice recognition security measures, you might think of a spy movie you watched. But biometric security systems are important components of physical security. When you unlock your smartphone, it's likely you're using your face or fingerprint. This is evidence of how biometric technology has been integrated into your daily life. Beyond the convenience of unlocking your personal devices, biometric security measures play an important role in enhancing physical security at many organizations. They use unique biological characteristics, such as fingerprints, facial features, and even retinal patterns. This provides a level of security that is both incredibly personal and nearly impossible to replicate. Let's explore some of the different types of biometric security measures. Fingerprint recognition is the most widely used biometric security, leveraging the unique patterns of ridges and valleys on an individual's fingertip. Facial recognition analyzes facial features to identify an individual. It uses algorithms to examine specific features, such as the shape of the face, the distance between eyes, and the contour of the cheekbones. Iris recognition scans the colored ring of the eye surrounding the pupil. The iris has complex patterns that are unique, even among identical twins, making it one of the most secure biometric identifiers. Retina scan analyzes the pattern of blood vessels at the back of the eye, which is unique to everyone. Retina scans are highly secure, but less commonly used due to the invasiveness of the scanning process. Voice recognition analyzes various voice characteristics, including pitch, tone, and cadence, to identify and verify an individual based on their voice patterns. Hand geometry measures and records the shape, size, and structure of an individual's hand. This method is less intrusive and can be very effective for identification in high-throughput areas. The role of IT support technicians for biometric systems. IT support technicians ensure operational efficiency and reliability of biometric security systems within an organization. Their responsibilities extend across various aspects, from initial setup to ongoing maintenance and user support. Let's explore these responsibilities more closely. Setting up biometric systems. IT support technicians might be responsible for the initial configuration of biometric security systems. This can include installing hardware, such as fingerprint scanners or iris recognition cameras, and software that manages the biometric data. They might also ensure the biometric systems are integrated with the organization's existing security and IT infrastructure, such as access control systems and network security protocols. Maintaining systems. Technicians perform regular software updates and patches to ensure the biometric system remains secure against new threats and continues to operate efficiently. They might also be responsible for maintaining the integrity and confidentiality of biometric data stored within the system. They can use encryption and other security measures to protect this sensitive information. Troubleshooting issues. IT support technicians address and resolve any issues that arise with biometric systems, from hardware malfunctions to software errors, ensuring minimal downtime. They might also be responsible for monitoring system performance to identify and rectify any issues or defects that could indicate security vulnerabilities or operational issues. Helping users. IT support technicians assist employees in setting up and enrolling their biometric data into the system. This might involve enrolling biometric data into organizational systems or helping employees set up biometric systems on their devices. They might also provide training and guidance to users on how to use biometric devices correctly and educate them about best practices for maintaining security and privacy. Now that you've learned about different types of biometric security systems, let's take a closer look at fingerprint locks. Best practices for managing a fingerprint lock. Unlike traditional locks requiring keys or codes, fingerprint locks use a unique physical characteristic fingerprints to verify identity and permit entry. Each person's fingerprints are distinct, creating a highly secure means of access control. These locks contain a small scanner that reads the patterns on a user's fingertips, converting the patterns into a digital code. This code is then stored in the lock's memory, allowing quick and accurate identification of authorized users. A fingerprint on a security scanner. Fingerprint locks offer convenience, because there's no need to remember keys or codes. They also provide a high level of security by relying on the one-of-a-kind features of fingerprints. Managing fingerprint locks. To ensure that fingerprint scanners accurately provide a means of accessing a device or space, technicians set up, configure, and maintain the locks. IT support technicians might be responsible for managing fingerprint locks, including the following. Calibrating sensors. Configuring data security. Enrolling fingerprints. Maintaining fingerprint readers. Troubleshooting fingerprint locks. Select each tab to learn more about best practices for managing fingerprint locks. Calibrating sensors. When setting up or troubleshooting a fingerprint lock, an IT support technician might need to calibrate sensors on the lock. Calibration involves adjusting the sensor to accurately read and interpret fingerprint data. Effective calibration of the fingerprint sensor involves the following tasks. Optimizing sensitivity. IT support technicians might adjust the scanner's sensitivity to capture diverse fingerprint patterns accurately. They might also test the scanner to ensure it performs reliably under various environmental conditions, such as temperature and humidity changes. Updating software. IT support technicians might regularly update fingerprint lock software to ensure the sensor remains properly calibrated. Configuring error management. IT support technicians might set up error management parameters to balance the rates of inaccurate acceptances and rejections. This configuration ensures the system is secure, but user-friendly. Configuring data security. Privacy and data security are important components in the effective use of fingerprint locks. Ensuring the confidentiality and integrity of biometric data involves several key practices. Encrypting fingerprint data. IT support technicians might set up or configure encryption methods in the fingerprint lock software to ensure that the fingerprint data stored on the device is secure. Configuring secure storage. IT support technicians might configure fingerprint lock systems to use secure storage mechanisms. This might involve setting up devices so the system stores biometric data in a trusted execution environment, minimizing the risk of unauthorized access. A T is a secure area of the main processor that ensures sensitive data is stored, processed, and protected in an environment isolated from the rest of the device's operations. Updating software. IT support technicians might update fingerprint lock software to protect against vulnerabilities. This might include installing updates for the fingerprint recognition algorithm and security patches. Enrolling fingerprints. Fingerprint enrollment is the process of registering one or more fingerprints on the device. This typically involves placing and lifting the finger on the sensor multiple times to capture different angles of the fingerprint. IT support technicians can support employees enrolling fingerprints using the following best practices. Cleaning source. IT support technicians should remind users that their fingers should be clean and dry when registering fingerprints with a reader. Dirt, moisture, or residue can affect the scanner's ability to read fingerprints accurately. Adjusting pressure. IT support technicians can help users apply the right amount of pressure. When scanning fingers, it's best to place the fingers gently and naturally on the scanner without applying too much pressure. Adjusting angles. IT support technicians can slightly adjust the angle or position of fingers during the registration process to capture them at various angles. This enhances the security of the scan. It also helps create more accurate reads when users attempt to gain access to the device or space. Registering multiple fingers. IT support technicians can help users register multiple fingers. This can be beneficial for ease of access, particularly in cases where the primary finger is injured or dirty. Monitoring fingerprint readers. After a fingerprint reader is set up, IT support technicians might be responsible for monitoring and maintaining the lock to keep it functioning smoothly. Cleaning the scanner. IT support technicians might clean the scanner with a soft, dry cloth to remove any dust, dirt, and smudges that might accumulate. These can inhibit the scanner from performing accurate reads. Because the scanners are made of glass, it is important to avoid using harsh cleaning agents or liquids to avoid damaging the scanner. Updating the firmware. IT support technicians might be responsible for keeping the firmware and drivers of the devices up to date. Troubleshooting fingerprint locks. When a fingerprint lock fails to scan properly, IT support technicians might need to troubleshoot the issue. Following are some techniques they can use to help resolve the issue. Clean the scanner. Check the scanner to ensure it's clear of any debris or dirt. Anything between a finger and the scanner can cause the scanner to improperly read a fingerprint and deny access. Inspect for physical damage. Examine the fingerprint scanner for signs of physical damage. Scratches or cracks on the scanner surface can affect its ability to read fingerprints accurately. Check for updates. Ensure the fingerprint lock software, firmware, and drivers are up to date. Manufacturers often release updates that can improve the accuracy and performance of the scanner. Adjust sensitivity settings. If available, adjust the sensitivity settings of the scanner. Some fingerprint locks allow for calibration adjustments that can enhance recognition. Check environmental factors. Make sure the lock is not exposed to extreme temperatures or direct sunlight, because environmental factors can impact the functionality of the scanner. Re-register fingerprints. If the lock fails to recognize certain fingerprints, re-registering them can resolve the situation. Differences between various types of screen locks. Different types of screen locks are useful for various reasons. While organizations have used fingerprint locks for some time, face locks are becoming more common. Like fingerprint locks, face locks use the unique biological features of an individual to grant access to devices. Face locks are a type of biometric security measure. They use sophisticated algorithms to examine and verify facial characteristics. These characteristics might include the distance between the eyes, nose shape, and jawline. The algorithm creates a digital facial template that serves as a secure identifier. While fingerprint or password-based locks demand specific inputs or physical contact, face locks provide a contactless experience. Users only need to place their faces in front of a camera for instant verification. An eye, a fingerprint, and a woman's face are each in squares with lines crossing each item. Face locks are becoming more prominent because of generally positive user experiences and technological improvements that make them easier and less expensive to implement. Even so, they are not without limitations. Let's compare face locks to other types of screen locks. Security. Face locks offer high security by analyzing unique facial features and using 3D imaging, making it difficult for unauthorized users to mimic or bypass. Fingerprint locks provide a stronger security level than face locks by using unique fingerprint patterns. However, they can still be vulnerable if the fingerprint data is somehow replicated. Passwords and PINs can offer strong security if the combinations are complex and kept confidential, but they are susceptible to being forgotten, shared, or stolen. Pattern locks offer a lower level of security compared to other methods. Patterns are easier for onlookers to observe and replicate, and often shorter than passwords or PINs. This makes them the least secure. Convenience and user experience. Face locks are generally the most convenient and easy to use because they're hands-free. Fingerprint locks require physical contact, which might not always be convenient. Password and PINs necessitate manual input, which can be time-consuming and less convenient compared to biometric alternatives. Pattern locks require drawing a pattern on the screen, which might be faster than a password, but not as convenient as a face lock. Privacy and data storage. Face locks usually use data kept in a secure and encrypted format, with advanced technology to prevent spoofing. However, there are privacy considerations regarding the potential to misuse the collected facial data. Fingerprint locks use data typically secured and encrypted on the device. Fingerprint locks are somewhat more susceptible to being spoofed than face locks, but still require considerable effort to bypass. Passwords are securely stored using encryption, but are still vulnerable to various hacking techniques. Passwords can include private information, which might pose a privacy issue. Pattern locks use data that is securely stored and encrypted on the device. They present fewer privacy concerns because they don't use biometric data or private information. Each type of lock has its own benefits and drawbacks. Face locks are especially good for easy use and strong security with the right technology. But, they also present concerns about privacy and how well they work when a user's appearance changes. Emerging security technologies. You've learned about different types of physical security measures, including security guards, screen locks, and biometric locks. However, as computing resources become more efficient and computers handle more sensitive data, security technologies need to grow more advanced. The following emerging technologies offer innovative solutions that enhance physical and logical security. Artificial intelligence. Advancements in artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning are revolutionizing security by enabling predictive analytics and automation. These technologies can analyze vast amounts of data in real time, identifying patterns and anomalies to detect potential threats more accurately and efficiently. For example, AI algorithms can detect malware activity by analyzing network traffic patterns and automatically quarantining affected systems. Blockchain technology, originally known for its use in cryptocurrencies, organizations are increasingly adopting blockchain for its security features. Its decentralized and unchangeable ledger system ensures data integrity and is used for secure transactions, identity management, and safeguarding sensitive information. Internet of Things, IoT, security. As IoT devices proliferate, ensuring their security becomes increasingly important. Advanced security protocols, specialized IoT security solutions, and continuous monitoring are being developed to protect networks from vulnerabilities introduced by connected devices. For example, organizations might use smart cameras and motion detectors that integrate with locks or other security measures. Quantum cryptography: with the advent of quantum computing, traditional encryption methods might become vulnerable. Quantum cryptography uses the principles of quantum mechanics to create theoretically unbreakable encryption, providing a future-proof security solution. Augmented reality, AR, for security training. AR is being used to enhance training programs for security personnel. It allows for realistic simulations of security scenarios, enabling better preparedness for real-world challenges. Drone surveillance: drones equipped with cameras and sensors are being used for surveillance purposes, particularly in large or hard-to-reach areas. They provide real-time monitoring and can be especially useful in crowd control, border security, and monitoring critical infrastructure. With these advancements come challenges, including potential ethical concerns regarding privacy and data protection. As emerging technologies are integrated into security systems, they also become integrated into cyber attack strategies. Security will always be a tug-of-war between malicious attackers and companies utilizing new technologies to get an edge over the other. What do you think? Employability skills. Growth mindset. You've just learned about some of the emerging technologies that are advancing the security technology industry. How can these emerging technologies be integrated into physical and logical security systems while protecting security and privacy? What ethical questions do you think should be considered as these technologies evolve? Summary and looking ahead. In this lesson, you explored the roles of physical and logical security measures in protecting organizational assets. You learned about best practices IT support technicians follow for device management, including using screen locks, fingerprints, and face recognition technologies, and implementing badge readers for enhanced security. In the next lesson, you'll learn about the best practices for secure software, including mitigating risks from common software vulnerabilities. From there, you'll explore how authentication and authorization work. About this lesson, securing software. The role of an IT support technician goes beyond the basics of installing, updating, maintaining, and troubleshooting software. A critical aspect of the role also includes preventing and responding to security breaches. In this lesson, you'll learn about common software vulnerabilities and why those vulnerabilities occur. You'll explore the importance of securing software using vulnerability scanners and the ways IT support technicians can secure applications and code. You'll learn about the difference between authentication and authorization and discover best practices for creating a strong password. And you'll learn about the differences between common access protocols. Introduction to software security. Every software installation provides a potential entry point for attackers. These vulnerabilities, if left unresolved, can be the weak spots that lead to system compromises. So, it's important for IT support technicians to have a strong understanding of the ways that attackers can exploit software and services. 3 people working together at a desk. An application window and server rack connect to the cloud. Software security efforts aim to identify, mitigate, and manage vulnerabilities within software systems to protect against potential security threats and risks. The relationship between software security and vulnerabilities is one of mutual dependence, with software security practices directly addressing vulnerabilities to enhance the overall security of software systems. Let's explore some common vulnerabilities in software and the areas where organizations focus to ensure software security. The impacts of common software vulnerabilities. Common software vulnerabilities can have wide-ranging consequences for the security and integrity of software systems. Vulnerabilities can pose significant risks to software integrity, application security, access control, data security. Let's learn more about these impacts. Software integrity. Software vulnerabilities impact the integrity of the software. Software integrity describes software that functions as intended and is free from unauthorized manipulation. Software integrity vulnerabilities can impact system software, such as operating systems and middleware. A woman holding an electronic tablet next to a computer laptop displaying a security symbol, a web page, and a chat box with a password. Middleware is software that provides services to and facilitates communication between the operating system and user applications. While software developers and vendors aim to keep their software secure, vulnerabilities still occur. IT support technicians might encounter the following software integrity vulnerabilities. Select each tab to learn more about common software vulnerabilities. Unpatched software. IT support technicians often encounter unpatched software during routine maintenance checks, system updates, or when they audit systems for compliance with security policies. Unpatched software occurs when an organization fails to apply updates, leaving software susceptible to known vulnerabilities. Bad actors can exploit these vulnerabilities to install malware, steal data, or gain unauthorized access to system resources. Outdated components. Technicians might find outdated components when troubleshooting system errors, performance issues, or upgrading systems. Outdated components, including libraries, plugins, or even entire unsupported applications, can contain vulnerabilities the creators are no longer addressing. These can become easy targets for attackers to exploit. Malware. Malware is malicious software, including viruses, worms, trojans, ransomware, and spyware. IT support technicians might discover malware during incident responses to security alerts, through regular system scans, or when users or systems report unexpected system behavior. It exploits weaknesses in software integrity, such as unpatched vulnerabilities or outdated components, to perform malicious actions. These can range from data theft and encryption for ransom to taking control of systems for use in botnets or other malicious schemes. Application security. Application security vulnerabilities impact the integrity of an application. These vulnerabilities are specific to web applications and mobile applications. These vulnerabilities impact the application layer. The application layer is responsible for providing the user interface and functionality directly to the user. IT support technicians might encounter the following application security vulnerabilities. A smartphone displaying a web page with an exclamation mark and lines of generic text covered by a magnifying glass. Select each tab to learn more about common application security vulnerabilities. SQL injection vulnerabilities occur when an application doesn't properly check or clean data that a user enters before inserting it into a database. This allows an attacker to insert malicious SQL code where the application expects safe information. The vulnerability means that an attacker can execute unauthorized commands and access or alter data. IT support technicians might find these vulnerabilities during application deployment, when conducting security assessments, or when troubleshooting database-related errors. Cross-site scripting, XSS, occurs when an attacker injects malicious scripts into web pages viewed by other users. This attack makes interactions on the user's computer, the client side, unsafe. XSS allows attackers to see, steal, or change the information the user enters or receives while using an application, such as during online shopping or when filling out forms on a website. Technicians might encounter XSS vulnerabilities while assessing web application security or responding to reports of unusual application behavior. Buffer overflow vulnerabilities happen when the application writes more data to a buffer than the buffer can hold. This generally happens due to a bug in the application code. A buffer temporarily holds data while an application processes it. An attacker might write an input containing malicious code that is intentionally larger than the application's buffer. Then, when the application processes the input, the excess spills over into other memory areas, and the malicious code is executed. IT support technicians might identify this type of vulnerability after receiving notifications about application crashes or while analyzing security breach reports. Access control. Access control vulnerabilities refer to weaknesses in the tools that determine who or what can view or use resources in a computing environment. These vulnerabilities can compromise the security of operating systems, databases, networks, and applications by allowing unauthorized access or actions. The systems and tools impacted by access control vulnerabilities are wide-ranging. They include server operating systems, network devices, database management systems, and any software application that requires user authentication and authorization. IT support technicians might encounter the following access control vulnerabilities. A criminal wearing a mask looks at a cloud with an unlocked padlock that connects to files, messages, and emails. Select each tab to learn more about common access control vulnerabilities. Default settings. Manufacturers often ship hardware and software with pre-configured settings, including default credentials or open permissions, to simplify initial setup. If IT support technicians do not properly configure these settings to the organization's specific security requirements, they can offer an easy entry point for unauthorized users. An IT support technician might encounter this vulnerability when setting up new devices or software where no one has customized the default access settings for security. Attackers can easily exploit these unchanged default usernames and passwords. Insecure passwords. Short, common, or otherwise easy-to-guess passwords can significantly lower the barrier for attackers attempting to gain access. This includes using default passwords, personal information, or common words. Strong, complex passwords are essential for securing access to systems and data. IT support technicians might identify the use of weak, easily guessable passwords during user account management or when responding to incidents of unauthorized access. Misconfigured access rights. This vulnerability involves the incorrect assignment of permissions to users or groups, either granting unnecessary privileges or not providing enough access. Proper configuration of access rights is important to ensure users can perform their job functions without exposing sensitive information or key system functionality to those without a need for it. Technicians might encounter this vulnerability when users report an inability to access resources they need or when they have access to more resources than necessary for their role. A technician might discover unauthorized modifications to data or systems. Data security. Data security vulnerabilities refer to weaknesses that can lead to unauthorized access, exposure, change, or data destruction. These vulnerabilities can affect many systems and tools, including email platforms, cloud storage services, databases, and any communication channels that transmit sensitive information. The impact of data security vulnerabilities extends across the entire IT infrastructure, potentially compromising personal, financial, or proprietary data. IT support technicians might encounter the following data security vulnerabilities. A locked padlock beside a laptop. The laptop screen displays an envelope and letter. The letter has a warning triangle on it. The document has a virus icon beside it. On the side of the screen is a password field with asterisks and a virus icon. Select each tab to learn more about common data security vulnerabilities. Phishing attacks involve deceptive communications, usually emails, designed to mislead users into providing sensitive information such as passwords, credit card numbers, or other personal data. Attackers pretend to be trustworthy people or organizations, writing emails that seem valid to trick users into taking an action that compromises their security. IT support technicians might encounter phishing attacks when responding to incidents where users have selected malicious links in emails or entered their credentials into a deceptive website. This can lead to compromised accounts. Insufficient encryption refers to either the complete lack of encryption tools or the use of outdated, weak encryption algorithms that fail to protect data from attackers. This issue can result in attackers easily accessing data or unauthorized parties deciphering encryption algorithms. Attackers can exploit this vulnerability at any time but often intercept data during transmission over unsecured networks or from lost or stolen physical storage devices. IT support technicians might discover this vulnerability when configuring network devices, setting up new databases, or deploying websites and applications that handle sensitive data. Using vulnerability scanners. Preventing software vulnerabilities and securing software involves regularly updating software. But, even with regular software updates, software vulnerabilities can still occur. Software vulnerabilities can cause a loss of functionality, system outages, and data breaches. Vulnerabilities such as malware can significantly impact an organization's operations, finances, and reputation. A shield with a closed lock transmitting data to a laptop, smartphone, and desktop computer. IT support technicians must be able to identify and respond to software vulnerabilities. They can use vulnerability scanners to do this. IT support technicians use vulnerability scanners to check a system for security vulnerabilities by checking devices, software, and services against a list of known vulnerabilities. Vulnerability scanners check software versions, configurations, and specific files or responses from applications to see if they match any known vulnerabilities. A web page displaying lines next to a magnifying glass over a bug. IT support technicians typically schedule these scans to run during off-peak hours to minimize disruption to business operations. Regular scanning schedules ensure ongoing security assessments without manual intervention for each scan. After the scanning software puts together a detailed report of its findings. IT support technicians can analyze the report or dashboard and then prioritize their response to the vulnerabilities. Review the data that this vulnerability scanner dashboard displays. Select each number in order to learn more about the information that IT support technicians analyze from a vulnerability scanner report. Affected asset count. This counts and lists the number of assets affected by each vulnerability, offering a clear view of the breadth of potential exposure. Vulnerabilities. This is a filterable list of vulnerabilities. Vulnerability age. This shows the age of each vulnerability to track how long it has been known and potentially unaddressed, aiding in risk assessment over time. Severity level. This displays the Common Vulnerability Scoring System, CVSS, score as well as severity levels, including critical, high, medium, and low. Impact type. This classifies and displays the type of impact, such as confidentiality, integrity, availability. Remediation recommendations. This indicates the availability of patches or workarounds for vulnerabilities for planning and executing remediation strategies. Real-time threat intelligence. This provides up-to-the-minute information on emerging threats and vulnerabilities, enabling immediate identification and response to potential security risks. Vulnerability scanners are key tools for IT support technicians, allowing them to proactively find and assess security gaps. After vulnerability scanners identify vulnerabilities, IT support technicians must address the vulnerabilities, and one approach is to deploy emergency patches. Let's explore this in more detail. Deploying emergency patches. Emergency patches are urgent software updates that vendors release to fix vulnerabilities that immediately threaten system security. These vulnerabilities are often widely publicized, actively exploited, or believed to be highly critical due to their potential impact. For IT support technicians, understanding and managing the deployment of these patches is an important responsibility. Emergency patches help protect systems from vulnerabilities in the following ways. A smartphone, a computer, and a laptop displaying update icons on the screens. They are surrounded by a cloud, a wrench, a paper airplane, a warning triangle, and a shield containing a checkmark. Immediate threat mitigation. Vendors typically release emergency patches in response to vulnerabilities with a high risk of exploitation. Attackers can exploit these vulnerabilities to gain unauthorized access, steal sensitive data, or disrupt services. Swift application of these patches closes the window of opportunity for attackers, Safeguarding an organization's assets. Regulatory compliance. Many industries have regulatory requirements that mandate the timely patching of known vulnerabilities. Failure to comply can result in penalties, legal consequences, and damage to the organization's reputation. By promptly applying emergency patches, IT support technicians help ensure compliance with these regulations and maintain the trust of customers and stakeholders. System outage prevention. Attackers can exploit some vulnerabilities to cause denial of service, DOS, conditions or other disruptions that affect system availability. Emergency patches address security concerns and help prevent potential outages impacting business operations, productivity, and revenue. IT support technicians can follow this process for deploying emergency patches. Introduction. A man typing on a keyboard while looking at code on a laptop screen and a computer screen. Pavan is an IT support technician for a regional bank. He is responsible for maintaining and deploying software patches for his company's many applications. The vulnerability scanner for the company's banking application is alerting about a vulnerability. Pavan must take swift action to deploy an emergency patch to resolve the issue. Step 1. Assess the security impact. Upon notification of the security vulnerability and associated emergency patch, Pavan assesses the environment's applicability and urgency. This involves understanding the vulnerability, the affected systems, and the potential impact of exploitation. The security analysis team will often send details of the vulnerability, patch information, and a risk assessment that Pavan can verify during his initial assessment. Step 2. Test the patch. Before widespread deployment, Pavan tests the patch in a controlled environment. The organization has a dedicated testing environment for the application, which he can use. In the testing step, Pavan verifies that the patch effectively mitigates the vulnerability without introducing new issues or incompatibilities that could affect system functionality. He uses a predefined testing checklist and automated testing tools that simulate real-world usage scenarios to ensure the patch does not adversely affect the application's performance or functionality. Step 3. Develop a deployment plan. Pavan and the IT security team develop a deployment plan that minimizes disruption to business operations. To reduce impact, the plan involves scheduling patch installation during off-peak hours or in phases across different network segments. Because Pavan's company primarily serves customers in one region, he plans for the deployment to minimize disruption in the early morning when system usage is at its lowest. Step 4. Deploy the patch. Pavan executes the deployment plan, applying the patch to all affected systems. He also uses automation tools, such as System Center Configuration Manager, SCCM, Ansible, or Puppet, to facilitate rapid rollout across the large environment. Step 5. Verify and monitor the patch. After deployment, Pavan verifies that the patch is successful and monitors systems for any signs of issues or continued exploitation attempts. By verifying and monitoring the security fix, he ensures that the patch effectively resolves the vulnerability and does not adversely affect system performance. Step 6. Document the solution. Pavan documents the vulnerability, the patching process, and any related incidents. His report on successfully mitigating the threat is important for compliance and informing stakeholders of the organization's proactive security measures. Summary. Pavan's prompt and effective installation of the emergency patch is an important part of his role as an IT support technician in securing software. Understanding the life cycle of emergency patch management is key to ensuring that the organization addresses critical vulnerabilities, preserving the integrity and availability of vital IT resources. Next, let's explore the role of IT support technicians in securing applications. Secure coding practices. Secure coding involves using practices and techniques to develop software that is resilient to security threats and vulnerabilities. Secure coding helps protect sensitive data, ensures the integrity and reliability of software systems, and mitigates the risk of security breaches and financial losses for organizations. Not following secure coding practices poses significant risks to software systems and applications. Without proper security measures, software code is left open to vulnerabilities that malicious actors can exploit. This means that IT support technicians spend additional time and resources addressing security issues, conducting frequent patching, and mitigating the aftermath of breaches. A web application covered by a locked padlock. Let's explore some of the common practices IT support technicians use to check for coding vulnerabilities. Input validation. Input validation is the process of ensuring that the data users enter into an application meets specific criteria before processing. For example, an online form might only accept a phone number in a certain format. While IT support technicians typically don't modify code, they interact with input validation in the following ways. When users report issues, such as a form rejecting valid data, a technician might investigate validation rules in the code. They might not change the code, but they will communicate the issue to the development team. Technicians review logs and code during security incidents, such as SQL injection attacks, to aid in resolving the problem and advising developers on enhancing input validation. Least privilege principle. The principle of least privilege ensures users have only the minimum necessary access to perform their tasks, reducing the impact of potential security breaches. For example, a finance employee only needs access to financial data, not employee or software development information. IT support technicians enforce this principle in the following ways. Technicians configure user accounts with essential permissions, using their understanding of the application's functionality and access controls. Technicians adjust application settings during deployment to enforce the least privilege principle based on defined security roles and permissions. Technicians audit configurations and permissions for compliance, potentially reviewing the codebase or documentation to verify access levels for different roles. Secure error handling. Secure error handling involves managing errors in a way that does not expose sensitive information to attackers. It aims to provide user-friendly error messages, such as, "An error occurred. Please try again later," while logging detailed information securely for authorized personnel. While developers are mainly responsible for designing and implementing these mechanisms, IT support technicians also play a vital role in the following ways. Technicians understand how applications handle errors so they can monitor logs effectively, identifying security vulnerabilities or error management issues that could leak sensitive data. To prevent future incidents, technicians communicate with developers to enhance error handling mechanisms, especially after a breach. Secure data transmission. Secure data transmission encrypts sensitive information during transfer, protecting it from unauthorized interception. For example, transport layer security, TLS, protocols encrypt data submitted through a web form. IT support technicians primarily contribute to the security aspect through system configuration and maintenance, not direct coding. Their roles include the following. Technicians configure applications to use secure protocols such as HTTPS or TLS for data transfer, often following developers' initial protocol choices. Technicians investigate data transmission methods in case of breaches or suspicions to check if encryption is correctly implemented or identify misconfigurations. Technicians apply patches or updates in response to vulnerability disclosures to keep data transmission protocols secure. They review documentation or release notes to understand changes in data handling. Understanding secure coding principles is important for IT support technicians, even if they're not writing coding. By knowing secure coding practices, they can prevent security incidents, troubleshoot effectively, and implement security procedures. When security incidents happen, technicians who understand secure coding can help quickly trace and address root causes, such as coding vulnerabilities. This speeds up the resolution and ensures effective mitigation. IT support technicians can also support secure software by configuring and managing security testing tools. Let's explore some security testing tools. Securing code by using security testing tools. When securing applications, IT support technicians can use different security testing tools. IT support technicians might ensure proper integration of these tools into the development and deployment pipelines. This enhances the organization's ability to detect and rectify vulnerabilities swiftly. They might also evaluate vulnerabilities reported by the tools, prioritizing them for software developers to address. A shield with a lock surrounded by keys. These are some of the common types of tools that IT support technicians use. Automated code analysis tools. IT support technicians use automated code analysis tools to scan the code base for potential weaknesses or coding errors that could lead to security vulnerabilities. These tools find issues such as incorrect input validation or insecure coding practices. By familiarizing themselves with the output of automated code analysis tools, IT support technicians can understand potential security weaknesses in the applications they support. Penetration testing tools. Technicians use penetration testing tools to simulate real-world cyber attacks to evaluate the system's security posture. Security professionals conduct these tests to identify vulnerabilities that attackers might exploit. IT support technicians might set up and maintain testing environments that closely mirror live systems for accurate testing without affecting production. In smaller organizations, technicians might run basic penetration tests. Security auditing tools. IT support technicians use security auditing tools to examine system configurations, permissions, and access controls to ensure compliance with security policies. Technicians review reports from auditing tools to ensure active controls, correctly installed patches, and availability of information in the event of a security incident. Authentication and authorization. Watch the following video to get an overview of authentication and authorization. Page 1 of 1. Video transcript. Authentication and authorization. If you try to enter a high security event, someone at the event checks to make sure you're supposed to be there before letting you in. They'll check that you're who you say you are and that you're on the list to get in. In a similar way, network authentication and authorization work to verify identity and approval for access for the purpose of allowing or denying usage of a network. Authentication confirms the identity of a user or device. The system uses credentials such as usernames and passwords, digital certificates, or biometric factors like fingerprints or facial recognition to make sure users are who they say they are. Authorization determines whether a user or device is allowed access to a specific network resource. The network administrator or security policy typically defines the role, permissions, and access rights of a user or device. When a user tries to log in, the system validates that the user and device are authorized to use a network before allowing the user to access it. Authentication and authorization work together to affirm identity and access. Both are required to ensure users are who they appear to be, and that each authorized user is approved to use the network and its resources. The security of network resources relies on authentication and authorization. It protects sensitive information and ensures that users can trust everyone on the network and work together with confidence. What do you think? Employability skills. Critical thinking. What are some ways that authentication and authorization contribute to overall network security? Evaluate your thinking. Does your answer account for the following? Expand for some more thoughts. Identity verification. Authentication ensures that users or devices accessing the network are who they claim to be. By validating credentials such as usernames and passwords, digital certificates, or biometric factors, the system verifies the identity of users or devices. This reduces the risk of unauthorized access by malicious actors. Access control. Authorization determines the level of access that authenticated users or devices have to specific network resources. By defining user roles, permissions, and access rights, network administrators can restrict access to sensitive information and resources. This minimizes the potential for unauthorized data breaches or system compromises. Prevention of unauthorized access. Effective authentication and authorization mechanisms prevent unauthorized users or devices from gaining entry to the network. These mechanisms help thwart malicious activities such as hacking, data theft, or unauthorized modifications to network configurations. They do so by denying access to individuals who lack proper credentials or permissions. Protection of sensitive information. Authentication and authorization safeguard sensitive data by ensuring only authorized users or devices can access confidential information. By controlling access to sensitive files, databases, or applications, these mechanisms prevent unauthorized disclosure or manipulation of critical data. This maintains the confidentiality and integrity of network resources. Now that you are familiar with authentication and authorization, let's explore these two security mechanisms in more detail. The roles of authentication and authorization. A laptop computer displaying a login window with a locked padlock, a password field containing asterisks, and a login button with an arrow. Two critical security processes, authentication and authorization, play fundamental roles in managing user access. Together, they govern how user identities are confirmed and what resources they can access. These processes ensure that the right individuals access the right resources at the right times, protecting sensitive data from unauthorized eyes. Authentication. In a digital environment, authentication ensures that the person accessing an account or system is the rightful user. It's like showing ID to prove you are who you claim to be. Authentication, also called authn, is the process of confirming the identity of a user before granting access to resources. Authentication compares one or more pieces of user-provided information with a stored record. For example, when logging into an online bank account, a user enters their username and password. The system checks the information the user provides against the username and password stored in a secure database. If the information matches, the system confirms the user's identity. A woman using a laptop with an authentication page and numbers on the screen while holding a smartphone with an authentication screen and the same numbers. Some systems use multiple layers of authentication, known as multi-factor authentication, MFA, which combines different methods such as passwords, security questions, and biometrics for heightened security. However, authentication is only the first part of the security process. Authorization. While authentication confirms your identity, authorization decides what you can do after your identity is verified. It's like showing a VIP pass or admission ticket to access a specific area. A security guard checks his list to see if a person in line can enter the club. Authorization, also called authz, is the process that defines the resources and actions permitted to a user after their identity has been authenticated. Authorization checks a user's permissions when they attempt to perform an action or access a resource within a system. The process involves consulting a database that tracks permissions associated with user roles or individual accounts. For example, a sales employee is authenticated and tries to download a sales pitch deck from an internal marketing tool. The system verifies their sales role against the role-based access control system. If the employee has the necessary rights, the download begins. Activity: differentiate between authentication and authorization. Employability skills. Analytical thinking. You've learned about authentication and authorization. In this activity, you'll review a short scenario and then determine whether the scenario describes authentication or authorization. Great job! You've learned about the differences between authentication and authorization. Next, let's explore different authentication methods and the role of IT support technicians. Authentication methods. While passwords are a common form of authentication, there is a variety of other authentication methods available for organizations to use. IT support technicians need to be aware of the methods and how they might play a role in managing them. Passwords. Passwords are the traditional and most common form of authentication. IT support technicians are often involved in setting up password policies, assisting users with password resets, and educating them on creating strong passwords. Biometrics. Biometrics utilizes unique physical characteristics for identification, such as fingerprints, facial recognition, or eye scans. IT support technicians might play a role in configuring biometric systems, troubleshooting biometric hardware, or helping users register their biometric data. Two-factor authentication, 2FA. Two-factor authentication, 2FA, enhances security by requiring two forms of verification. It does this by asking users about something they know, such as a password, and something they have, such as a code sent to their device. IT support technicians might set up 2FA systems, assist users in enrolling in 2FA, and troubleshoot access issues related to 2FA. Security tokens and badges. Security tokens and badges use physical devices to access an account or system. For example, organizations might have a physical fob device, such as a car fob, that connects to a computer using Bluetooth to grant or deny access based on credentials saved on the device. IT support technicians might manage the distribution of these tokens and ensure proper configuration for users. Next, let's explore how IT support technicians can guide users in creating strong passwords. Creating strong passwords. While other authentication methods are available, most systems still use passwords. IT support technicians are often responsible for helping users create passwords or setting password standards as part of user access policies. IT support technicians can guide users in creating effective passwords by emphasizing the following best practices. A list of passwords and a pencil on a desk next to a smartphone and a cup. Complexity, use a mix of character types, such as uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols. Length, use passwords that are 12 to 16 characters long to provide enhanced security beyond the minimum of 8 characters. Uniqueness, avoid easily guessable words or sequences, such as password or 123456. Automated tools can quickly crack these. Singularity, use one unique password for each account to prevent a security breach on one account from compromising others. Use passphrase, use a passphrase, which is a mix of words spelled using unique characters, making it hard to crack but easy to remember. For example, W at TER for free 99. Think about it. Now that you know about password best practices, think about your own passwords. Don't write them down or share them. How can you improve them using these best practices? Authorization models. After a system authenticates a user, it uses authorization to determine what resources they can access or actions they can perform. Different authorization models govern how a system manages access privileges. IT support technicians might help implement and maintain authorization policies that dictate which of these authorization models the organization uses. Even if an IT support technician does not work with authorization policies, they must understand an organization's authorization policy because they often set up an employee's access when setting up their computers. Here are 4 authorization models IT support technicians should know. Attribute-based access control, ABAC. Attribute-based access control, ABAC, systems-based access control decisions on attributes that define the user, the resource, and the environment where users are requesting access. These attributes can include factors such as the user's job title, location, or time of day. The system grants or denies access based on how these attributes match predefined policies. For example, a bank teller can only do customer transactions from the bank branch between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. when the bank is open. The system uses the role of the bank teller, plus a location attribute, such as bank branch, and a time attribute, such as between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m., to determine the actions that the bank teller can take. A diagram showing how attribute-based access control works. A person with the label user attributes in a column with a globe of the Earth that is labeled environment attributes, and a document icon, labeled data asset, data attributes. 3 dotted lines connect the column to a notepad with generic text lines and gears, labeled policy engine. This icon connects to 2 icons, an open lock with a checkmark, labeled Approve Access, and a closed lock with an X, labeled Deny Access. Role-Based Access Control, RBAC. Role-Based Access Control, RBAC, assigns permissions based on job roles. In RBAC, users are aligned to predefined roles within an organization and the system grants access based on those roles. For example, an employee with a manager role at a bank might have access to sensitive data, such as financial reports, client information, account databases, and consultant reports. However, a consultant role might only have access to specific information relevant to their duties, such as financial reports relevant to their responsibilities and consultant reports. 3 people in separate circles, with the labels accountant, manager, and consultant. The accountant person connects with a branching solid line to 2 document icons, one with the label financial reports and another labeled account database. The manager person connects with a solid branching line to all 4 document icons, financial reports, client information, account database, and consultant reports. The third person connects with a solid branching line to 2 document icons labeled financial reports and consultant reports. Discretionary Access Control, DAC. Discretionary Access Control, DAC, allows individual users to control access to their resources. Every object or resource in the system has an owner who can choose to grant or deny access to anyone they wish. For example, in a file sharing system, users can decide who can view, edit, or delete their files. This model is the least secure, because it can lead to security vulnerabilities if users are not careful when managing access rights. A person with the title owner connects with a dotted to a stack of servers with a key over the label object. A second line connects the owner icon to 3 people over the label specified users or groups who can access, and another dotted line that connects the 3 people to the same stack of servers labeled object. Mandatory Access Control, MAC. Mandatory Access Control, MAC, models control access using centrally managed rules and policies. The system determines access based on these rules. For example, government and military organizations often use MAC to enforce strict access controls, ensuring that data is protected according to predefined security levels. A user with top secret clearance might be able to access all documents. In contrast, a user with public clearance might only be able to access a subset of documents. Common Access Protocols. Imagine you're signing up for a premium subscription to an online magazine. Instead of creating a new username and password for that magazine's website, you can log in using your existing email account's credentials. So, rather than filling out a registration form with your name, email, and password, you use your Gmail account to sign in to the website. When you select Sign in with Google, you're redirected to a Google login page where you enter your Gmail address and password. After confirming your credentials, Google returns authentication information to the magazine's website, verifying your identity. This scenario is an example of Common Access Protocols. Common Access Protocols are a standardized set of rules that govern how users or systems authenticate and authorize access to resources, such as networks and websites. These protocols ensure secure and efficient access to various services, applications, or data. 3 widely used standards define protocols for managing identity and access on the Internet include Open Authorization 2.0, OAuth 2.0, OpenID Connect, Security Assertion Markup Language, SAML. Nonprofit organizations dedicated to developing and promoting open protocols make these standards. Each of these standards has a different, but complementary, purpose for authentication and authorization. Let's explore each protocol and the roles that IT support technicians might play in using them in more detail. OAuth 2.0. OAuth is a widely used protocol for authorization. It is a protocol that allows third-party services to perform operations on behalf of a user without getting their password. Third-party services are any applications or platforms external to the primary application the user is directly interacting with or has data stored in. For example, a personal budgeting application might allow you to see your transaction information across many bank accounts in a single dashboard. The budgeting app needs access to your financial accounts across various institutions to aggregate financial data. OAuth enables you to authorize the application, as a third party, to access your account information without giving the application your banking login credentials. Step 1. Request authorization. When you add a new financial account to the budgeting application, the system redirects you to the service provider, the bank, to approve the budgeting application's access request. You might need to log in to your online banking account. Step 2. Grant permission. You grant permission for the budgeting application to access specific data on the banking app. Step 3. Issue a code. The bank issues an authorization code to the budgeting application. Step 4. Acquire an access token. The budgeting application exchanges the authorization code for an access token with the bank. Step 5. Access resources. The budgeting application uses the access token to request specific user data from the bank. Step 6. Renew the token. The access token expires, but the budgeting application can renew it with a refresh token for continued access. Organizations primarily use OAuth 2.0 for customer-facing applications. However, they might also use it internally to manage how different applications and services access each other and user data securely. For example, a company might use OAuth to manage how its internal messaging tool accesses employee calendar information to update availability or schedule meetings automatically. An IT support technician might encounter OAuth in several scenarios. Configuration: technicians might be involved in setting up OAuth for new applications or services, configuring the permissions that define what each application can access. Maintenance and updates: technicians might also maintain these setups, ensuring the OAuth configurations are up to date and secure. This includes updating permissions as needed and ensuring that the tokens, also called keys, are still valid. Troubleshooting: IT support technicians use OAuth applications to troubleshoot and resolve employee issues, such as the inability to log in or access certain data. OpenID Connect. OpenID Connect builds upon the existing OAuth 2.0 framework to simplify managing online identities. It provides a way for applications to confirm who users are by communicating with a trusted source that has already verified their identity. It also allows for the safe exchange of basic personal information across different platforms in a standardized way. OpenID Connect enables logging into various services with a single account. It allows single sign-on, SSO, meaning users can access multiple applications or websites with one set of login details. It also enables federated identity management. Federated identity management is using familiar logins, such as social media or company credentials, to sign into different platforms. Additionally, OpenID Connect helps protect sensitive information by ensuring that only authenticated users can access certain data through APIs. For example, imagine you're registering for an online education platform. The application allows you to sign up using your social media or email credentials. When you sign up with your social media account, a new window will open, prompting you to log into your social media account. From then on, you can conveniently use your social media account to log into the online education platform. Select to follow the steps of using OpenID Connect. Step 1. Request user authentication. The user attempts to log into an application using OpenID Connect. Step 2. Redirect to identity provider. The application redirects the user to their chosen OpenID provider, for example, their email provider, to authenticate. Step 3. Authenticate user. The user logs in with the OpenID provider. Step 4. Issue ID token. Upon successful authentication, The OpenID provider issues an ID token and an access token back to the application. Step 5. Retrieve user information. The application decodes the ID token to obtain the user's profile information. It then grants access to the application and potentially uses the access token to access other secured resources. Organizations use OpenID Connect to streamline and secure user authentication across customer-facing web and mobile applications. Organizations also use OpenID Connect to manage access to internal tools and enable single sign-on. When managing these systems, IT support technicians might be responsible for the following tasks. Configuration and management. Technicians set up and manage SSO capabilities across the organization's applications, ensuring a seamless access experience for all users. Troubleshooting. IT support technicians address and resolve users' issues during the login process. Compliance. Technicians also ensure that the authentication processes comply with the organization's security policies, maintaining the integrity and confidentiality of user data. SAML. SAML is an open standard that facilitates seamless and secure communication between organizations' digital systems. Organizations use SAML to enable single sign-on, SSO, for enterprise-level applications, allowing users to access multiple systems with a single set of credentials. SAML is an older standard than OpenID Connect, but organizations still widely use it for its compatibility with enterprise systems. For example, you set up a username and password when starting a new job. As you set up your new computer, you can use the same username and password across all applications you need for your role. Select to follow the steps of using SAML. Step 1. Initiate access. The user attempts to initiate access to a service provider, such as an internal project management tool. Step 2. Authorize SAML request. The service provider needs to check who you are, so it sends an authorization request through your browser, asking the identity provider to confirm your identity. The service provider will redirect you to the identity provider's login page with a SAML request for authentication. Step 3. Confirm user authentication. On the identity provider's login page, you enter your usual username and password. The identity provider checks if your login is correct and authenticates your access. Step 4. Receive SAML assertion. After you've logged in successfully, the identity provider creates a special message, "Yes, this person is who they say they are." This message, called an assertion, is made so the service provider can trust it hasn't been tampered with. Step 5. Grant access. The service provider processes the SAML assertion and grants you access. It might also read some info from the message to set up things how you like them. Step 6. Allow service access. Now, the service provider lets you use the service you want, such as your project management tool, without asking you to log in again. It trusts you because the identity provider said you're okay, and the message proves it. Organizations use SAML to implement enterprise single sign-on, enabling employees to access a wide range of internal and external applications with a single set of credentials. When managing these systems, IT support technicians might be responsible for the following tasks. Configuration for SSO. IT support technicians might integrate various service providers with an identity provider. They could also configure the service provider to send authentication requests to the identity provider and ensure that the service provider can understand and trust the assertion. Identity and access management. Technicians might set up user accounts, define roles with specific permissions, and set up rules that determine how to grant access. Troubleshooting authentication issues. IT support technicians might resolve issues related to failed logins or access problems stemming from SAML assertions. They might check logs to see if SAML assertions are being created correctly, ensure they haven't expired, and verify that the service provider is correctly processing these assertions. Try it. Use your email credentials to sign up for or log in to a website, like IBM Skills Build. Summary and looking ahead. In this lesson, you learned about common vulnerabilities in software and the importance of vulnerability scanners in securing software. You learned about the ways IT support technicians secure applications and code. You explored the differences between authentication and authorization and learned about best practices to create strong passwords. You also learned the differences between common access protocols, such as OAuth 2.0, OpenID Connect, and SAML. The next lesson covers troubleshooting security measures and common security issues in software. You'll also learn about ways to identify best practices to prevent PC security threats and ways to identify common types of malware. About this lesson, troubleshooting security measures. IT support technicians stand at the front line of an organization's security, tasked with fixing technical glitches and ensuring the security of physical and logical systems. Technicians' work is more than just troubleshooting. It's about safeguarding the integrity of information from cyber threats. It's a role that requires a deep understanding of technology, human behavior, and ethical considerations. In this lesson, you'll learn how IT support technicians troubleshoot security measures. You'll explore common security measure issues, such as authentication and access control failures, configuration and patch management flaws, social engineering attacks, and physical security lapses. You'll also learn ways to identify common types of malware. Common security measure issues. Two men working with a laptop computer in a data center. For IT support technicians, securing hardware and software is just the beginning. The challenge comes when security measures face unexpected issues. Despite advanced technologies and measures in place, vulnerabilities can emerge, leading to potential security breaches. As someone responsible for maintaining the security infrastructure, the IT support technician role also includes troubleshooting these issues. IT support technicians encounter common problems, which they must help identify and fix. Understanding and fixing these vulnerabilities is important to keep an organization's data safe and maintain trust. Let's explore some common issues with security measures and the role of IT support technicians in identifying and resolving these security issues. Access control issues. Access control systems act as gatekeepers to ensure that only authorized users can interact with sensitive data and resources. However, these systems aren't foolproof. IT support technicians might encounter a range of issues, from simple configuration errors to sophisticated hacking attempts. IT support technicians must be prepared to diagnose and address access control system failures to protect an organization's systems against unauthorized access. Fixing these issues ensures data remains secure and operations remain uninterrupted. Let's review common access control issues and the measures IT support technicians take to prevent and troubleshoot them. Weak passwords. An IT support technician might use the most advanced security measures, such as sophisticated access protocols, encryption, and firewalls. However, these systems often rely on a simple yet critical component for user access: passwords. Weak passwords are easily exploitable, offering a gateway to unauthorized access and potentially exposing sensitive information. To prevent and troubleshoot this issue, IT support technicians might establish and enforce a strict password policy. Configure password settings on company applications. Educate employees about the importance of strong password creation. Implement multi-factor authentication, MFA, to provide an extra layer of security beyond passwords. Change default passwords and credentials. Access control system integrity issues. Effective access control is essential to the security of any organization. Yet, it's only as reliable as the software and configurations that support it. Issues within these systems can cause considerable vulnerabilities. IT support technicians might encounter the following integrity issues. Unpredictable behavior in access control systems due to bugs in software or firmware. Configuration issues, such as misconfigured access control lists or improperly set up network access controls. User database corruptions and database synchronization issues that can have a cascading effect on login protocols and access control. To mitigate and manage these integrity issues, IT support technicians might establish procedures for updates and patches and set up automatic updates. Configure database backups and restoration points. Deploy monitoring tools to detect and rectify configuration errors and to flag any abnormal system behavior indicative of integrity issues. Apply updates, patches, and database repairs. Physical access control system failure. Physical access controls such as badge readers, face locks, and even surveillance mechanisms like cameras can have issues or failures that require the support of an IT support technician. These failures might be due to hardware malfunctions, wear and tear, environmental factors, or software glitches that affect the device's operations. IT support technicians might encounter the following issues: malfunctioning badge readers, unreliable fingerprint locks, face recognition systems that fail to accurately identify users, security cameras that don't record properly. To mitigate and troubleshoot these failures, IT support technicians might implement regular maintenance schedules to service and check the operational readiness of physical security devices. Set up environmental controls to keep the hardware within operational temperature and humidity ranges. Replace or repair faulty hardware components. Update device firmware and software to the latest versions to address known bugs and improve functionality. User access control issues. IT support technicians often face many user access issues that compromise system security. These issues often impact employee productivity, so technicians must resolve them quickly. IT support technicians might encounter the following issues: lost or stolen credentials that give intruders access if not quickly addressed. Account lockouts, which can impede legitimate user access while acting as a security measure against brute force attacks. Authentication failures, which can stem from simple incorrect entries to complex system misconfigurations. Authorization errors in which users have inadequate permissions or gain access beyond their need. To manage these issues, IT support technicians should maintain credential management systems and protocols for immediate reset of compromised access details. Use clear guidelines and systems for handling account lockouts, including secure processes for verifying and reinstating user access. Use detailed logging and real-time monitoring to quickly identify and address authentication and authorization anomalies. Regularly review and adjust user permissions to ensure they align with current roles and responsibilities, minimizing the scope for authorization errors. Scenario: troubleshooting access control issues. Let's explore a scenario in which an IT support technician identifies and resolves access control issues. Introduction. A woman typing on a keyboard at a desk while looking at a computer monitor. Meet Mai. She's an IT support technician in a busy corporate office. She oversees the company's access control. 1. During a routine security review, Mai notices multiple user accounts are flagged for weak passwords. To address this, Mai reaches out to the employees. She reminds them of the strict password policy requiring a mix of characters, numbers, and symbols, reducing the risk of easy guesses. Mai also checks that she's configured strong password requirements for all new user accounts. 2. Mai receives a call that a user is locked out of their account. She follows the company guidelines and uses the user database system to verify the employee who is calling. After the employee is verified, Mai reinstates their access and follows protocol to ensure the employee resets their password. 3. Toward the end of the day, Mai receives a ticket from the front desk security guard. The badge reader in the building lobby has been acting erratically and malfunctioning. Mai checks the configuration settings from her office and checks for any updates. She doesn't find any issues with the software, so she heads to the lobby to check the hardware. She reviews the environmental conditions of the reader. She cleans the sensor, but determines that the badge reader likely needs replacing. When Mai returns to her office, She places an order for a new badge reader for her department head to sign off. Summary. By addressing these authentication and access control failures, MI prevents immediate threats and reinforces the company's overall network security posture. Software integrity issues. Keeping systems and software up to date and correctly configured is key to preventing security breaches. Small mistakes can leave big gaps in a network's defenses. IT support technicians need to know how to troubleshoot software integrity issues. Let's explore some of the common software integrity issues and the steps IT support technicians take to address these issues. Misconfigurations in software. Misconfigurations in software are incorrect or suboptimal settings that can lead to performance issues, security vulnerabilities, or system failures. These misconfigurations can happen due to a lack of understanding of the default configurations. They often occur during initial setup, during updates, or when users make changes without a complete understanding of the system. Misconfigurations can range from incorrectly set permissions that expose sensitive data to flawed network settings that open systems to intrusion. IT support technicians should review configurations when troubleshooting these issues, ensuring alignment with security best practices and operational requirements. This process often involves the following tasks. Review configuration files and parameters against established security standards to identify deviations. Update permissions and network settings to prevent exposing sensitive data. Use configuration management tools that detect and repair any settings that do not comply with company policies. Revert systems to previously known secure states to quickly address critical misconfigurations. Collaborate with development and operations teams to establish automated deployments that adhere to configuration protocols and reduce human error. Outdated software. Software that is not kept up to date might contain unpatched vulnerabilities that cyber attackers can exploit, exposing the system to potential breaches and data theft. These vulnerabilities can also lead to decreased system performance and an increased likelihood of compatibility issues with newer technologies. When IT support technicians troubleshoot outdated software, they might undertake the following steps. Conduct an installed software inventory and compare current versions against the latest releases to identify outdated applications. Prioritize updates based on the severity of known vulnerabilities and the criticality of the software to business operations. Test updates in a controlled environment before widespread deployment to ensure they do not disrupt system functionality. Automate the update process where possible, using patch management systems to streamline and secure the deployment of updates across the network. Unpatched security vulnerabilities. Unpatched security vulnerabilities can open doors for attackers, potentially leading to unauthorized access, data breaches, and other security incidents. The longer these vulnerabilities remain unpatched, the higher the risk becomes, as information about these weaknesses can become widely known, making systems easy targets. IT support technicians troubleshoot unpatched vulnerabilities by completing the following tasks. Implement a robust vulnerability management program that includes regular scans of the environment to detect weaknesses. Prioritize patches based on the risk level of the vulnerability, the importance of the affected system, and the potential impact of exploitation. Apply patches in a timely manner following the organization's patch management policy, which often includes testing patches for stability before applying them to production systems. Employ compensating controls such as intrusion detection systems, firewalls, or network segmentation to mitigate risk in instances where patches cannot be immediately applied. Scenario: troubleshooting software integrity issues. Let's explore a scenario in which an IT support technician manages troubleshooting software integrity issues. Introduction. In a dynamic tech company, Jacob, a senior IT support technician, faces network security challenges throughout his day. A man standing at a desk and typing on his keyboard. Configure servers. After logging on in the morning, Jacob checks the company's network. He discovers that some server settings are not configured correctly. He acts swiftly, adjusting these settings to prevent accidental exposure of sensitive data to cyber threats. He also communicates the issue to the network development team so they can set up automated configurations when they deploy new servers. Configure automatic updates. Jacob then checks the software inventory management tool and notices that the company's project management software hasn't been updated for a while. To prevent security issues, he schedules immediate software updates and checks the configuration for automatic updates. Update software. Later in the day, Jacob reviews a vulnerability scan report and finds a crucial security update for their customer database software. Recognizing the risk, he prioritizes this update to fortify the company's defenses against potential intrusions. Conclusion. By tackling these challenges, Jacob not only resolves the immediate issues, but also enhances the company's overall security. Addressing social engineering attacks. Social engineering attacks exploit human psychology, rather than technical vulnerabilities, to gain unauthorized access to systems or sensitive information. IT support technicians recognize that technology alone cannot fully protect an organization. Employees are often the weakest link in security, so educating them and understanding what to do in the event of an attack is essential. Tactics like phishing, pretexting, and baiting are designed to deceive individuals into revealing confidential data or performing actions that compromise security. Select each tab to learn more about common social engineering attacks. Phishing involves fraudulent attempts to obtain sensitive information, often through deceptive emails or messages. Imagine receiving a fake email appearing to be from a trusted source, urging you to click on a link and enter personal information. This tactic preys on trust and urgency to trick individuals into divulging login credentials, financial details, or other confidential data. Pretexting involves creating a fabricated scenario to manipulate individuals into sharing information or performing actions. It's like a con artist creating a false identity or story to gain someone's trust. Attackers might pose as legitimate entities, such as an IT support technician or coworker, to extract sensitive information by building false trust. Baiting lures individuals into a trap by offering something enticing, like a free download of a paid service or a free USB drive infected with malicious software. Unsuspecting individuals who fall for this trap compromise their system's security by unwittingly introducing malware or allowing unauthorized access. Awareness of these social engineering tactics is important to recognize and avoid potential security threats in the digital landscape. Identifying social engineering attacks. For IT support technicians, identifying social engineering attacks can help them educate employees on these types of attacks and address them when they occur. To address social engineering attacks, IT support technicians can use a combination of proactive and reactive measures. Conduct regular training sessions for employees on how to recognize and respond to social engineering tactics. Help create and enforce comprehensive security policies that include guidelines on how to handle sensitive information and respond to suspicious requests. Implement and maintain spam filters, web filters, and endpoint security solutions that can detect and block phishing attempts and malicious websites. Enforce the principle of least privilege to ensure employees have access only to the information and resources necessary for their job functions. Advocate for and facilitate the deployment of MFA to add an additional layer of security for accessing sensitive systems and data. Safeguarding personal computers. Malicious actors have numerous entry points into networks, yet employees' personal computers, PCs, frequently represent the most vulnerable link. These devices can act as gateways to the corporate network, storing sensitive organizational and personal information. Addressing security threats to personal computers is therefore a complex, but essential, task. There is no single effort that can prevent security threats. Individual measures, while important, will be inadequate because no single tool or process can address all the different types of threats to a computer system. Multiple efforts working together, however, can go a long way to keeping a system safe. Just as a single stage of water filtration is not always enough, a comprehensive system of 5 or 6 stages can make even the most contaminated water drinkable. Keeping threat actors at bay is a multi-pronged effort that requires constant vigilance. The following tools and best practices help prevent PC security threats. IT support technicians might use a combination of these when setting up and supporting a computer for a new employee. Authentication and access control. Use strong, unique passwords. To create strong, unique passwords, use a mix of letters, numbers, and symbols in passwords. Enable MFA, to require more than just a password to gain access to data or services. Software and system maintenance. Regularly update software and operating systems, adjust settings to automatically install updates for Windows or Mac OS. Install and update antivirus software, use programs like McAfee or Norton Antivirus and ensure they update automatically. Network security. Use a firewall, use Windows Firewall or a similar tool to monitor network traffic. Secure the Wi-Fi network, set a strong Wi-Fi password and use the latest encryption standard. Data management and backup. Backup data regularly, use external drives or cloud services like Google Drive or Dropbox for backups. Use encrypted connections, use VPN services for encrypted internet access, especially in public places. Email and web safety. Be cautious with email attachments and links, avoid opening attachments from unknown senders in emails. Be wary of phishing scams, recognize suspicious emails or websites asking for personal information. Physical security and user behavior. Limit user privileges, use a non-admin account for daily activities. Physically secure your PC, use a computer lock for your laptop in public areas. Awareness and education. Stay informed, follow technology news and subscribe to security blogs for the latest information on threats. Inform others, educate others on potential threats and ways to keep their systems and their data safe. Next, let's examine different types of malware that IT support technicians should know. Different types of malware. Malware, short for malicious software, refers to a broad category of software programs designed to infiltrate, damage, or gain unauthorized access to computer systems, networks, and devices. Cybercriminals create these malicious programs to steal sensitive information. Malware spreads through infected email attachments, compromised websites, or vulnerable software. It exploits security weaknesses to infect systems and carry out malicious activities without the user's knowledge or consent. Detecting and mitigating malware threats are essential tasks for IT support technicians to protect against potential data breaches. A beetle in a circle above the word malware. Malware can take various forms. Let's explore the different types. Viruses. Viruses attach themselves to files, slipping in undetected like a silent intruder. They infiltrate files just like germs find their way into the body. They often disguise themselves within innocent-looking programs or files, waiting patiently for an opportunity to unleash their malicious intent. 4 columns of repeating ones and zeros next to a characterization of a virus with one eye and mouth. For example, an employee at a company receives an email with an attachment labeled invoice.pdf.exe. Believing it to be a legitimate invoice, the employee opens the attachment. Unbeknownst to them, the file contains a virus. How it unfolds. Initial infection, the virus executes and then activates when the file is opened, silently installing itself on the computer. Propagation, the virus attaches itself to other executable files on the computer, spreading each time these files are accessed. Damage, the virus corrupts files over time, leading to system instability and data loss. Worms. Worms are digital parasites that self-replicate. Unlike viruses that attach themselves to files, worms are standalone programs that use network connections to spread across computers and networks rapidly. They exploit security weaknesses in computer systems or networks, often multiplying at an alarming rate once they find an entry point. Imagine them as fast-moving creatures constantly seeking out new hosts, making copies of themselves as they traverse through interconnected devices. This rapid and self-replicating behavior can congest networks, overload systems, and potentially cause significant damage to the digital infrastructure they invade. Repeating rows of ones and zeros with the word worm repeating through the center. For example, a company's employee inadvertently downloads free software from a dubious website. This software infects a network with a worm. How it unfolds. Independent spread. The worm does not need to attach to a file. It operates independently and starts replicating itself. Network exploitation. Using the company's network, the worm scans for other computers with the same security vulnerability and spreads to those systems. Rapid multiplication and damage. The worm replicates quickly, consuming bandwidth and slowing down the network. It might also perform malicious actions like data theft and file corruption. Trojan horses. Trojan horses, named after the Greek legend, are deceptive forms of malware. They masquerade as trustworthy or useful software, tricking users into believing they're harmless when, in fact, they contain malicious elements. Once inside a system, Trojan horses don't replicate like viruses or worms. Instead, they operate quietly in the background, executing their hidden agenda. They might steal sensitive information, grant unauthorized access to cybercriminals, or even cause significant damage to the system. 4 columns of repeating ones and zeros next to a horse with viruses inside of it. For example, an employee at a company receives a pop-up notification while browsing the internet. It warns them of a virus on their computer and offers a free antivirus download. The software looks legitimate, so the employee installs it. However, it's a Trojan horse. How it unfolds. Deceptive installation. The software, disguised as an antivirus program, is a Trojan horse. It installs without raising suspicion. Hidden operations. Once installed, the Trojan horse operates in the background. It does not replicate like a worm or virus, but instead begins to carry out its harmful agenda. Malicious actions. The Trojan horse could perform various actions, like stealing sensitive data, monitoring the user's activities, or providing remote access to the attacker. Ransomware. Ransomware holds digital files hostage. Imagine it as a virtual kidnapper that sneaks into a computer and encrypts important files, essentially locking them away and making them inaccessible to the user. After files are encrypted, the ransomware demands payment, often in cryptocurrency, in exchange for the decryption key that can unlock the data. This type of malware can strike anyone: individuals, businesses, and even institutions. A laptop computer displaying a web page with the words ransomware attack, your personal files are encrypted across the top. For example, a small business owner opens an email appearing to be from a trusted vendor and clicks on a link inside. This action inadvertently downloads ransomware onto their computer. How it unfolds. Encryption of files. The ransomware quickly encrypts various files on the computer, including documents, spreadsheets, and databases, making them inaccessible to the owner. Ransom demand. A message appears on screen and demands a ransom for the decryption key needed to unlock the files. Urgency and threat. The message might include a deadline and a threat to delete the decryption key, effectively making the files inaccessible forever, if the ransom isn't paid on time. This intensifies the urgency of the situation. Spyware. Spyware operates stealthily, lurking in the background of a device and secretly monitoring activities. Spyware can track internet browsing habits, capture keystrokes to steal passwords, or access personal data stored on a device. The unsettling aspect of spyware is its ability to quietly siphon off private information, potentially exposing sensitive details to cybercriminals. Users can inadvertently download spyware along with seemingly harmless software or through deceptive links. This highlights the importance of being cautious while browsing online and employing reliable antivirus software to detect and remove these intrusive digital spies. A web page displaying a large eye with glasses in the corner of the page. On the other side of the page are generic text boxes, images, and an unlocked padlock. Adware. Adware bombards users with unwanted advertisements. It's like a persistent salesperson that continuously pops up on a device, displaying ads, banners, or pop-ups while browsing the internet or using certain applications. Often, adware infiltrates a device when a user downloads free software or apps, piggybacking on these downloads to sneak into the system. Though adware might seem less threatening than other types of malware, its constant barrage of ads can be incredibly disruptive. Beyond being an annoyance, some adware can also track browsing habits to deliver targeted advertisements, compromising online privacy. A computer laptop displaying a web page with a warning triangle over a web page that says, "Click me." Types of anti-malware tools. IT support technicians rely on many different tools to identify and remove malware. Among the most popular anti-malware tools are antivirus software, which scans for and removes known malware signatures. Anti-malware programs that detect and remove a range of malicious code, such as Trojan horses, worms, and ransomware. Firewalls, which block unauthorized access attempts. Other tools, such as intrusion detection systems, IDS, and intrusion prevention systems, IPS, can monitor network traffic for suspicious activity. IT support technicians also use malware analysis tools to dissect and understand the behavior of new and emerging threats, enabling them to develop effective countermeasures. Some common anti-malware tools include McAfee Antivirus, Windows Defender, Malwarebytes, Bitdefender, Norton Antivirus, Total AV. You might already know about popular antivirus programs such as McAfee Antivirus, Windows Defender, and Malwarebytes. Most standard antivirus programs provide similar features, such as the following: detection and removal of known malware, such as viruses, exploits, and ransomware. Scheduled scans that can be repeated on a regular basis, such as every Monday at 9 a.m. On-demand scans that a user can start whenever they want by selecting a button. Real-time protection activity that detects and blocks malware and stops the user from visiting websites known for malicious activity. Activity: protect devices with Malwarebytes. Employability skills. Attention to detail, critical thinking. In this activity, you'll practice using Malwarebytes antivirus software to scan, detect, and remove malicious and unwanted software. Malwarebytes is a well-known anti-malware software. It's designed for Microsoft Windows, Mac OS, Chrome OS, Android, and iOS. It detects and removes malware, such as viruses, worms, Trojan horses, ransomware, spyware, and adware. IT support technicians use anti-malware software like Malwarebytes to identify, quarantine, and remove malware. Note: you do not need to download or use Malwarebytes to complete the steps in this simulation. Follow the simulation steps in this fictitious scenario. You're a new IT support technician assigned to support tickets to help employees at your company with security issues. You have permission to use your remote access software to view each employee's PC. Malwarebytes is installed on all PCs at your company to protect them from cyber attacks. In this simulation, you'll use Malwarebytes to scan an employee's computer to identify and delete any malicious files on it. You'll then respond to another support ticket and use Adware Cleaner, a free extension of Malwarebytes, to detect and remove adware on another employee's computer. There are 17 steps to complete. Task 1. Scan for malware using Malwarebytes. Step 1/17. Here is the desktop of the first employee, who suspects their PC has been infected with malware. To scan the employee's PC, you'll use the Malwarebytes tool to scan for malware. Select the Malwarebytes shortcut. Step 2/17. The Malwarebytes dashboard provides several pieces of information. In the security section, notice the scanner, detection history, and real-time protection tools. You'll use the scanner and detection history tools to scan the employee's PC and remove the malware. Select the next arrow to continue. Step 3/17. Scanner provides an option to start your first scan, and includes a button that you can select to start an on-demand scan. To run a scan now on the employee's PC, select Scan. Step 4/17. Scanning takes a few minutes. You can view the progress in the scanner pane. This pane shows the time elapsed, the number of files scanned, and the number of harmful files detected. Select the next arrow to continue. Step 5/17. When the scan is complete, the scanner threat scan results page displays. Notice that Malwarebytes has identified one potential threat on the employee's PC. You determine that the file should be removed. Now you need to quarantine the file. Select Quarantine. Step 6/17. You quarantine the potential threat and your scan of the employee's computer is complete. Select Done to close the scanner window. Step 7/17. Now, you need to delete the quarantined file. Select Detection History. Step 8/17. Select the checkbox for the quarantined file you want to delete, and then select Delete. Step 9/17. In the Delete Quarantined Items alert, select Yes. Step 10/17. Notice that the deleted item is no longer listed. Select the next arrow to continue. Task 2, use AdWCleaner to detect and remove adware and spyware. Step 11/17. Now, you have another support ticket from a different employee. They complain about ads popping up on their screen, so you suspect the problem isn't malware. You decide to use Malwarebytes application AdWCleaner, which focuses more specifically on identifying potentially unwanted programs, PUPs, such as adware. Select the next arrow to continue. Step 12/17. With the employee's permission, you access their computer. This is the employee's desktop that you have permission to access remotely. When you launch AdWCleaner, the dashboard pane opens. Select Scan Now to start scanning. Step 13/17. During the scan process you notice AdWCleaner lists the time elapsed, the number of files scanned, and the number of harmful files detected. Select the next arrow to continue. Step 14/17. The scan is complete. Notice AdWCleaner lists a potentially malicious file that it detected. You need to quarantine and disable it. Select the checkbox for the file, and then select Quarantine. Step 15/17. AdWCleaner prompts you to save your work before it quarantines the item. You verify with the employee that they have saved all of their work. Now, select Continue. Step 16/17. In the navigation panel, select the Quarantine tab to view quarantined items. Step 17/17. The quarantine pane lists the quarantined item and information about the adware. Notice the file is listed as quarantined. Select the next arrow to continue. You've successfully used Malwarebytes and AdWCleaner to scan for and quarantine malware and adware on the employees' computers. Well done! You practiced using Malwarebytes to successfully scan and remove malware to protect devices. Career Management Highlight, CompTIAA Plus Certification. Career Management Highlight. Are you thinking about a career in information technology, IT? If so, you should consider getting certified. Certifications demonstrate to potential employers that you possess a solid understanding of foundational IT concepts, hardware, software, networking, and security. Consider a certification from the Computing Technology Industry Association, CompTIA, a well-respected information technology and cybersecurity certification organization. The A+ certification is for anyone who wants to establish themselves as a competent and skilled professional in the IT industry. This certification exam covers foundational knowledge and skills across a wide range of IT, including hardware, software, networking, and security. What do you think? Employability skills. Written communication, analytical thinking. Take some time to explore the CompTIAA Plus certification. Access https://www.comptia.org/certification/ a left parenthesis opens in a new tab, and read the web page to determine if you might be interested in pursuing this certification. Summary and looking ahead. In this lesson, you learned about common security issues, such as authentication and access control failures, configuration and patch management flaws, social engineering attacks, and physical security lapses. You explored best practices that IT support technicians use to prevent computer security threats. And you learned about different types of malware. You've completed the final lesson of this module. Next, you'll review the module's key points and explore additional resources related to security best practices. Points to remember. Key concepts. 1. IT support technicians are responsible for setting up and troubleshooting computing hardware and keeping hardware secure. 2. IT support technicians must be knowledgeable about both physical and logical security. Physical security is safeguarding people, resources, and assets from physical threats or unauthorized access. Logical security refers to safeguarding digital systems, networks, and data against unauthorized access, manipulation, or damage. 3. Physical security measures protect against physical intrusions. They include access controls such as locks, keycards, and biometric scanners installed on doors or entry points. These ensure that only those with proper authorization can gain physical entry to specific areas within a facility. 4. Logical security measures protect against digital intrusions. They include firewalls as a digital barrier, network defenses such as intrusion detection systems, IDS, intrusion prevention systems, IPS, and encryption protocols. 5. Security guard duties encompass various tasks to prevent incidents and respond effectively to potential risks. 6. IT support technicians support badges and configure, maintain, and troubleshoot badge readers. Badges contain magnetic stripes, proximity sensors, or radio frequency identification, RFID, chips, storing unique details about the cardholder. Badge readers are devices used to scan and verify badges electronically and to grant or deny entry to secured areas or digital resources. 7. Screen locks are security features used on digital devices, such as smartphones, tablets, and computers, to prevent unauthorized access. They require a user to enter a specific form of authentication, such as a PIN, password, pattern, fingerprint, or facial recognition, before gaining access to the device's contents. 8. Biometric security systems use unique biological characteristics to provide a level of security that is both incredibly personal and nearly impossible to replicate. These characteristics include fingerprints, facial features, and even retinal patterns. 9. IT support technicians ensure the operation and reliability of biometric security systems, and their responsibilities range from initial setup to ongoing maintenance and user support. 10. IT support technicians are also responsible for managing fingerprint locks. Their responsibilities might include calibrating sensors, configuring data security, enrolling fingerprints, maintaining fingerprint readers, troubleshooting fingerprint locks. 11. Software vulnerabilities affect organizations' software integrity, application security, access control, and data security. 12. Software integrity can be affected by unpatched software, outdated components, and malware. 13. Application integrity can be affected when an attacker injects harmful SQL code into a database, and cross-site scripting, XSS, which is when an attacker injects malicious scripts into web pages viewed by other users. 14. Buffer overflow vulnerabilities happen when the application writes more data to a buffer than it can hold due to an application code issue. 15. Access control issues include default settings that have not been updated and secured, insecure passwords that are easy to guess, Misconfigured access rights that allow unauthorized users to access sensitive data. 16. Data security is compromised by phishing attacks when users click on malicious links in emails or enter their credentials into a deceptive website. Insufficient encryption affects network device security. 17. Understanding secure coding principles is important for IT support technicians. They should be familiar with input validation, least privilege principles, secure error handling, and secure data transmission. 18. Authentication ensures that the person accessing an account or system is the rightful user. 19. Authorization is the process that defines the resources and actions permitted to a user after the system authenticates their identity. 20. Authentication methods include strong passwords, biometrics, two-factor authentication, 2FA, and security tokens and smart cards. 21. Strong passwords should be complex, long, unique, used singularly for one account, and easy for the user to remember but not for others to guess. 22. Authorization models include attribute-based access control, ABAC, systems, role-based access control, RBAC, discretionary access control, DAC, and mandatory access control, MAC. 23. 3 widely used standards that define common access protocols for managing identity and access on the Internet are Open Authorization 2.0, OAuth 2.0, OpenID Connect, and Security Assertion Markup Language, SAML. 24. IT support technicians need to be prepared to diagnose and address failures in access control systems to protect against unauthorized access. 25. Technicians also troubleshoot misconfigurations in software, manage and update outdated software, and identify and patch unpatched security vulnerabilities. Technicians also troubleshoot misconfigurations in software, manage and update outdated software, and identify and patch unpatched security vulnerabilities. 26. Social engineering attacks include the following. Phishing involves fraudulent attempts to obtain sensitive information, often through deceptive emails or messages. Pretexting involves creating a fabricated scenario to manipulate individuals into sharing information or performing actions. Baiting involves luring individuals into a trap by offering something enticing, like a free download of a paid service or a free USB drive infected with malicious software. 27. IT support technicians must also manage and follow best practices for maintaining computer security. The responsibilities include authentication and access control, software and system maintenance, network security, data management and backup, email and web safety, physical security and user behavior, awareness and education. 28. IT support technicians should be aware of different types of malware, such as viruses, worms, Trojan horses, ransomware, spyware, and adware. Big ideas. In addition, you explored or practiced these skills. Employability skills. Analytical thinking. Differentiate between authentication and authorization. Examine the requirements and benefits of CompTIAA Plus certification. Attention to detail. Determine whether office space elements need physical security, logical security, or both. Use Malwarebytes to scan, detect, and remove malware from a personal computer. Critical thinking. Identify the differences between securing a physical space and securing a digital system. Determine ways authentication and authorization contribute to network security. Use Malwarebytes to scan, detect, and remove malware from a personal computer. Growth mindset. Consider how emerging technologies can be integrated into physical and logical security systems and the ethical implications. Learning agility. Use Malwarebytes and AdWCleaner to support an employee issue with PC security. Career management skills. Examine the requirements and benefits of CompTIAA Plus certification. Learning objectives. Now that you've completed this module, you should be able to Differentiate between various types of security measures for hardware devices and IT support technician responsibilities in managing them. Select appropriate physical or logical security measure for a given scenario. Differentiate between authentication and authorization. Select tools, processes, and best practices to secure software applications. Apply best practices to prevent computer security threats. Use Malwarebytes to scan, detect, and remove malware from a personal computer. Explore more resources. To explore concepts covered in this module in more depth, check out these resources. 7 examples of real-life data breaches caused by insider threats, opens in a new tab. This Ekron System blog by Lyud Mila Prime & Co. summarizes 7 real-life data breaches resulting from different insider threats. What are insider threats? Opens in a new tab. This IBM article provides a detailed look into insider threats, including types of insider threats and best practices for detecting and mitigating them. What are the security issues from using an unsupported operating system? Opens in a new tab. This blog from IT Convergence explains the security risks of using an unsupported operating system. What is ransomware? Opens in a new tab. IBM Cloud product leader Bradley Knapp explains how ransomware can affect personal devices and large enterprises and how to defend against it.